Hello. This is the first animatic I've ever made, and I'm gonna remake it 5 years later. Technically 6 years later, but 5 sounds better for a YouTube title, so that's what I'm calling it. Back in 2017, the Lightning Thief musical came out, and I was seeing a ton of animatics for it all over YouTube, and that was pretty much all I was watching at the time. And I liked to draw, and so I thought, why not make my own Lightning Thief musical animatic? And the only song I hadn't really seen anyone doing an animatic for was the song Drive, so that's the one I did. It's a 4.5 minute song, so it was a lot, and it didn't turn out that great, but it ended up gaining way more traction than I ever anticipated. So it's currently my second most viewed video on YouTube ever. I wasn't pleased with it then, and so I thought I would remake it. I've been making animatics for 6 years now, so I've learned a lot since the first one, and so I think it'll turn out, you know, big differences. Alright, so my plan with remaking it is to follow the storyboard pretty much exactly frame by frame, just redrawing it with my updated art style, as well as adding like adjustments of different like editing techniques and things I've learned since then, like doing the little expression shift thing I like to do in animatics, as well as adding blur where blur could be used, and not overdoing motion lines. I did that a lot back then. So yeah, let's start with the major changes I made, because I didn't end up sticking to that plan fully. There's a line in the song, 1 foot forward at a time. The original was this really awkward pullout that doesn't feel smooth. It's really clunky and not good. And so I changed it to actually fit the lyric. So now I have the character taking like a step forward, and it also in the books and the musical and everything, this character Grover has shoes with wings. They're like Hermes shoes, and so I wanted to show those because it's kind of important to the plot, and he's saying 1 foot forward at a time. That's the perfect opportunity to show the shoes, and so I have him taking a step, which looks better and is also better storytelling. And then the next major change was the train. Basically, this whole song is a compilation of all the characters traveling, so there's a bunch of different vehicles. I drew them walking onto every single transportation, so they're walking onto the train. That's unnecessary and also not fun to draw. So I changed it to be more of like a transition, so they're already sitting in the train. Yeah, I just really didn't want to draw people getting onto the train, and I also looked up a reference for the train, so it's not like off the top of my head. I'm looking up references is important. But yeah, implying instead of showing is better storytelling. And then there's the scene with the Chimera. I don't know why I changed half of what I did, but I just did, and I think it looks better. One of the major things I would say that I changed on purpose is in the original I had Percy, like, he jumped into Annabeth's arm out of fear. Sorry if I'm just saying the character names and you don't know who they are. You'll get it with the visuals, I'm sure. But it was like so subtle that you couldn't even see what like my intention was, so I actually drew it a little more obvious. I think in general, throughout the whole animatic, I framed things out better. So this was framed out better, and you can actually see him in her arms and then her dropping him. I think it's funny. So, and then the last major change I made was with Ares. They go on his motorcycle again with the train thing. I didn't want to actually show them getting on the motorcycle like I originally did, so I just had a transition, and once again I took this opportunity to make the transition part of the storytelling. So we've got the lyric is people are counting on us and I'm counting on you. So with the I'm counting on you part, we have him Ares smirking, which I think is more telling of his character and more interesting to look at. It's just better and easier to draw. Yippee! So those are the big major changes I made, and then there was a few minor changes as well, like color consistency. In the old one, I would tool drop the line art color and the shading color each frame, but I also drew with pen pressure. And if you don't know, pen pressure makes it so that you have to build up the color. And so if I wasn't tool dropping at the full opacity of the color, I was getting a lighter color. So you can see the old animatic goes from really dark color to like really pale, like low contrast, and it's like, so it's inconsistent and it bothers me. So what I do now with animatics is I draw in the little corner like the full opacity color that I'm using for line art, and then I use that color on a lower opacity layer for the shading, and I write down the percentage of the layer, so you can see a 48% in the corner of pretty much every time I draw a frame. That's always like up there, and then I just hide it when I save the layer. But that helps me stay consistent, and then the whole thing isn't slowly fading and dying of color. It's good now. Another thing I did is I added a lot more movement to frames that originally didn't have it, which makes for better transitions of movement. I don't know if that makes sense. You're seeing examples, so I hope that's making sense. But yeah, much more interesting to look at when things are moving. And then also backgrounds. I actually looked up references for things like the ticket booth and all the vehicles and the locations, like the arch and the Vegas sign. I actually drew the Vegas sign instead of writing Vegas in a box. Also, the vehicles, I labeled all of them in the old animatic. Why did I do that? Why did I write tractor on a tractor? That's weird. So I didn't do that. But yeah, I also, with the backgrounds, used lighter shading so that the focus is more on the characters. It's more in the background when it's more faded than the characters. I hope that makes sense. As well as blurring some backgrounds. But yeah, basically, the overall thing, I think my art has improved a ton compared to 5 or 6 years ago, thankfully. So I think it's really fun to see the side by side of the art style. Yeah, it was really fun to work on, really fun to draw for the most part. I've almost given up on this multiple times. I haven't drawn on the wrong layer in years. It's taking forever. It's a 4.5 minute song. Them hopping off the motorcycle, I cannot be bothered to do that. I really don't want to. I don't know how to draw a hand. My tablet just decided it was done. So, and I'm struggling out here. It was fun. I streamed a lot of it on Twitch, so if you ever want to watch me work on future animatics or drawings and games and stuff, follow me on Twitch maybe if you want to. I don't know, you can. But then I do want to talk about the most important frame of all, the Bianca and Nico frame. On the original video, this tiny scene of these two characters, I got hundreds of comments. I'm not joking. Hundreds of comments pointing out that I included Bianca and Nico. So I felt like it was important to do them justice, you know? To make this redraw frame count, because I knew people are going to timestamp this again if the remake does well, which I hope it does, because it's you know, the old one's not my best work. I would say I think I've improved a lot. I would much rather this one get views, but we'll see, you know? YouTube's unpredictable, you never know. But yeah, overall, I'm really excited that this is done, and I'm excited to show you, and I hope you will watch it. I'm really happy with the difference. I put them side by side. If you want to check the description, there's an unlisted video of the animatics playing side by side at the same time, so you can watch the full like differences. I think that's really fun, and I think it looks cool. But yeah, this was like a giant draw this again challenge, but took way longer and was way more work. But it's always fun to see improvement. This was a bit of a weird video, especially the formatting. I apologize. I lost a lot of the footage of me working on this. So I'm doing what I can with the editing. I hope that's all right. And I hope you'll check out the full thing, which is posted right now, if you want to see that. And please help me get this new one. I mean, I would say more viewed more than the old one, but that's asking a lot because the old one's my second most viewed video, you know. But yeah, let me know what you think of it, and I'll see you in the next video. This was just a fun little project that I really wanted to do. So yeah, okay, I'll see you next time. I apologize. Okay. Bye.